338 ARC, 300 Blackout, and last but not least, 8.6 Blackout. 3 wildly niche rounds that are very expensive to shoot, and we're probably all wondering why they exist. However, they do exist, and people will want them, so we must talk about them, okay? I have shot about 400 rounds of 338 ARC up to this point, and all while shooting 8.6. I've probably got, personally, about 1,000 to 1,200 rounds, but not on this gun, but just 8.6 in general. And, oh man, I don't even know, probably 3,000, 4,000 rounds in my lifespan of 300 Blackout. I feel like I've come to the conclusion on 338 ARC. Now, this video is not going to be a video on the gun, okay? This is a Faxon rifle. Thank you, Faxon, for sending me this testbed gun out. Faxon has usually been some of the quicker people to the market when new rounds are released, for them to be releasing barrels that support all these new rounds. So Faxon, you know, they helped me with my 8.6 video, and now they're helping me with the 338 ARC video, so I do need to give them a shout out.
Future Micah here, having edited the whole video, watching it and going, maybe I was a little bit too harsh with my opinions. I do have to explain my relationships with all the companies out there. You guys have seen me go and visit the Q headquarters. I do like them. I do know them personally, okay? Does Q know I'm making this video? No. Does Q get to see this video? No. Do I think that I have any bias in this video towards either Hornady or Q? No. Hornady supplied me with a lot of things for this video, a lot of ammo worth a lot of money. So, you know, both companies kind of pitched in for this. I don't think I'm gonna have any bias. I just wanted to get that off the rip because I did forget. So my bad. No, I'm not taking any money from either company. The only company who really knows I'm making this is Faxon and Hornady. So do with that information as you will. I tried my best, to be honest. I'm sure I got some things wrong in this, and feel free to correct me in the comments. I'm always trying to learn. Take care.
Now, the focus of this video, though, is going to be on 338 ARC. Why did I bring out 300 Blackout and 8.6? Man, there's so much to get into. So let's discuss what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be range testing the 338 ARC next to the 300 Black, next to the 8.6. We're going to be ballistics gel testing. I don't have a slow-mo camera, guys, but that's not what matters. What matters is, once we shoot it, can we look at the cavity and see which round performs? And ultimately, we're going to be talking about the delivery systems for these guns, the loads available, and more, okay? We're just going to get into all the nitty-gritty. So, without further ado, let's shoot some really expensive ammo. No lockback. Great. The ammo that we're going to be using for 338 ARC, Hornady did supply me with the ammo, their ammo. It's the 307 grain Sub X. Okay, in case you guys are wondering, I'll show those close-ups on what they look like. But here's the Sub X, and here is a 300 Blackout. You can see that the case is just barely shorter, but fatter than the 300 Blackout. Now, it's important before we continue in this video to understand where 338 ARC is intended to fit in. 300 Blackout shoots out of an AR-15 frame, right? You can use, for the most part, AR-15 magazines. I know MagBolt released 300 Blackout magazines, but you can shoot these out of AR-15 lowers and magazines with, you know, just a different barrel and gas system. Okay, now we have another Subsonic round. Good old Kevin Brittingham, your guys' favorite, with the 8.6 Blackout, okay? Now, this particular 8.6 is a 285 grain projectile. They do have some heavier, upwards of the 300, north of 300 grain projectiles, but this one is from Gorilla Ammo. It's a solid copper projectile, solid copper expander. Like I said, we're gonna be shooting these into ballistics gel, but we have these 3 rounds, okay? The theme between these rounds is ideally, they're all fired subsonic and ultimately, hopefully, still very lethal. The 300 Blackout, designed to outperform the MP5 SD, And the 8.6 intended to now, instead of shoot out of an AR-15 chassis, shoot out of an AR-10 chassis like we have over here. We have our Q boombox, okay? I'm a big fan of this gun. You gotta ask yourself, if we have a big Kathunker round and a small round, you know, AR-15 frame, AR-10 frame, then where does the 338 ARC come from? Why does this need to be a thing? Well, good question. Glad you asked, viewer. The 338 ARC was intended to do somewhere in the middle of what the 8.6 and the 300 Blackout do while still maintaining a small frame. They do shoot out of AR-15 lowers, AR-15 uppers, 6.5 Grendel or 6 ARC bolts, okay? And obviously 338 ARC barrels. Did we need this? Did we need somewhere in the middle to... I don't know. I think we're gonna find that out today. So let's continue. But before we continue, I do have to give a huge thank you to all the homies out there who make this channel run, especially on this video. A lot of silencers in here, Silencer Central. Guys, thank you so much for hooking it up, especially on videos like this where I need all the guns to be silenced, okay? They take all the guesswork and difficulties of shopping for a can out, okay? They make it easy. They show up straight to your door. No need to even go into a gun store, so please get over there. Use coupon code Micah for their in-house line, or whatever can I'm using here, they probably have it as well. OpticsPlanet, also, thank you for supplying the optics for this video, Loophole Mark IV. As always, hooking the channel up, making sure I can have things that accurately represent what you guys will be buying. Use coupon code Micah over there. Get yourself 7% off. Third, Americana Pipedream Apparel. I mean, they're my best homies, honestly, at this point, and one of the biggest sponsors of the channel. Coupon code BUSSI saves you some cash on some already affordable military surplus, so get over there. And as always, usually Badlands ammo, but, you know, we had to... Sorry, Badlands, we're cheating on you. So, I'm gonna start getting into, in my opinion, the most important part of this video. This round could be the best round since... I mean, we haven't ballistic tested it yet, since sliced bread. However, this magazine is a 400 Legend magazine, okay? Let's see if we can get this thing to cycle the whole mag. This was the magazine that was supplied to me with the gun. And Faxon, when they hit me up, they go, hey, by the way, what magazines do you intend on using? Well, my dumbass thought, well, it's a 330. I respond to them. I'm like, well, it's a 338 ARC, and you know, I've invested heavily into Geisley's 6 ARC video magazines, right? These are also intended for small frame, like the rest of the ARC family. And they go, have you gotten those to work? Or like, is that working for you? So you'd think with the ARC family of rifles, it would use ARC magazines, correct? Well, wrong. So now that I've invested $130 per magazine into my Geisley ARC mags, all right, we've got one chambered. Ah, see? That actually worked, Dan. Okay, so we have 10 rounds, or somewhere around there, in our chambered a little rough. This is the Geisley 6 ARC magazine.
Bruh.
Wow, it's actually running. Man, we could not get this thing to run to save our lives. Let's try it one more time. All right. Well. Okay. Round 3 with the Geisley. Wow. I don't know what's happening, but in our initial testing, we could not get the Geisley 6 ARC magazine to run. I don't know what's going on. Geisley 6 ARC mags apparently are working now. They weren't working before. Third magazine on the list. So we had one failure, obviously multiple failures with our 400 Legend mag. We're now gonna try the ammo storage components mag, ASC. These work great in my 6 ARC rifles. Honestly, flawless. So that's what our Geisley was doing earlier. Yeah, man, mean, you just take 300 Blackout, AR-15 receiver, AR-15 magazine, it doesn't matter. Lock back, everything just works. It's quiet, less recoil. The delivery system is proven. More parts compatibility with your bolts and your magazines and your lowers. I mean, I could go grab an AR-15 magazine and rock this thing all day long. I really don't have to worry about what magazines I run with my 300 Blackout. Same goes for my 8.6 Blackout. I'm just gonna grab this PMag, load it up with some ammo I've barely shot, and it's gonna work, and lock back. There it is. So anyway, there's my point so far at the time of recording this. I want to point that out. At the time of recording this, we have a round that has been developed without a reliable delivery mechanism, okay? Which means as of right now, it's kind of useless. If you can't reliably feed the gun, what's the point of the round?
Here we have another example of a factory rifle that ships with a 400 Legend magazine. However, they got a little more creative over there at CMMG and labeled it 338 ARC on this side of the magazine, even though the other side still says 400 Legends. So it seems like manufacturers are favoring the 400 Legend mag. However, my rifle can't even really properly close the bolt without causing a malfunction. We'll see how that evolves.
Now, I want to put emphasis on the fact that this is something that has kind of plagued the ARC family in general. Even with 6 ARC, there was a little beta testing period where, you know, we really had to figure out what mags worked with what. It seems to be where we're at. I hope we can figure out a reliable feeding source, but as of right now, I'm not saying this isn't going to get better. It probably will get better. It just seems to not be that reliable. Now, moving on, we are going to be ballistic testing. We're going to test the 8.6 versus the 338 ARC and see which one has the bigger cavity. Spoiler alert, I think it's going to be 8.6. Okay, I've never done ballistics gel testing on this channel. You can see I had this ghetto-ass chair set up that we're going to be testing off of, but we're going to start with the 8.6 Gorilla ammo, solid copper expanders. I've been told that Ballistics Gel 8.6 doesn't do too good. You kind of need fluid. It might not expand the way it should, but we're gonna find out for ourselves. Ready, Dan?
Yep.
Going on. I shot right over it.
Yep.
Wait. Yeah, so I didn't shoot right over it. I shot right through it and nothing happened. It didn't expand. Next up, 338 ARC sub X into gel. This is my first time doing this. Let's see. Okay, so you can see we have the little red tip and a giant wound cavity. So as you can see, we have a larger wound cavity. That's because the round actually expanded. You can see little bits of pieces of copper thrown around in here as it was twisting through. Now these barrels are 1 1/8 twist, so you don't quite get the rotational energy that you get out of 8.6, which I wish we could have seen on Ballistics Gel. Okay, discrete ballistics, expanders. Like I said, those Gorillas just super underwhelming, so we'll see how these Chads do. Yeah, that sounded way nastier than the Gorilla ammo. It actually made a thump. Oh, yeah. Whoo! That is wicked. Look at that death spiral. Dude, look at that death spiral.
It's a piece of art, dude.
That is, I could put that in a painting, man. I mean, what's cool is there's a hole there, a hole there. The jacket kind of, look at that, dude, just ripped out right off the rip, started expanding, and you can see little pieces getting thrown in here. That is an excellent showing. Wow, that's awesome. I like to see that. Okay. Discrete ballistics, 2 gel blocks. Bruh. Look at how perfectly that expanded. You see that? That is a nasty round. We'll get a close-up of the camera, but I mean, it looks like a fish hook on just all sides. It's just peeled back. Look, clearly the discrete ballistics performs in gel. The Gorilla ammo did not. I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, ballistically, should we go get 338 arc and see if we can even make it into the second gel block? All right, 338 arc, 2 gel blocks. All right, so now we get to see them side by side, right next to each other. So that right there, that tiny, tiny little one. Wait, actually the 338 arc didn't even start performing until we made it barely into the second projectile. Like, it started to expand right about at the end, whereas the 8.6 expanded and just spun a crazy death spiral all the way through. Ballistically, I mean, look, dude, if you're trying to kill something large, like Cape Buffalo or something crazy, I mean, I would take the 8.6, like, period. It's just, that's a nasty wound cavity. And it really could also be that this was Hornadys Sub-X versus discrete ballistics. Really awesome round. I mean, I don't know if it's super fair because we didn't compare Sub-X to Sub-X. There is not really any Sub-X for 8.6, so I kind of just went with, you know, some kind of subsonic expanding round. So it could just be hats off to discrete ballistics, but I'm gonna go ahead and say, I mean, we have FMJ in there. I could just send an FMJ through it as well. Should we do that? And so now we're back to the Fort Scott ammo. This is just FMJ subsonic. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Even FMJ subsonic outperformed ballistically. I mean, look at that. That crazy death spiral and then an immediate tumble. So no, it's not just discrete ballistics being gangster. I mean, they are gangster, but really it's just the 8.6 is a nasty round. It did better than the 338 arc. I don't know what to tell you. Ready? Okay, and now we have 190 grain. It would have been smart of me to compare, like, to get Sub-X, to compare Sub-X to Sub-X, but once again, discrete ballistics sent me these rounds out, so I'm gonna use them. And honestly, I'd rather compare it to, like, one of the gnarlier rounds anyway, just to show the capability and the you know, the potential the round has. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. You have more immediate effects on the 300 Blackout. You know, 338 arc really didn't open up that quickly. This opened up, you can see the jacket right there, and you know, it lost most of its ass by the time it exited, but it dumped all its energy right there and expanded and grenaded the round. I think I would just take this. It's cheaper to shoot. It feeds reliably. So all three did pretty good. This is what caused our crazy death spiral. This is the 8.6. Obviously, when this thing is rotating at 250,000 RPM and impacts you and opens up like that, it's probably gonna do some nasty things. Period. Like, that's how physics work. 300 Black also did great. Expanded just like you wanted it to. Lost one of the pedals in the gel. And then we have the Sub-X. Also did good. I mean, it opened up like it should have. It pedaled and bloomed. I just think that the twist rate on that 8.6 really amplifies the violence of that round. This is just like the middle child, and these are the two rounds the parents actually care about.
And guys, this video cost me a lot of money. It took me a long time. We have cameraman Dan full time now. I do have a mid-roll ad sponsor. I'd hope you stick around for them. That sponsor is
TacPack. You've seen them on the channel before. You're seeing them again today because I don't know how TacPack boxes just keep getting better. We got the Die Frico Kung Fu. I have that on at least 6 guns behind me, okay? This has become one of my favorite grips. Every single rifle behind me has a forward controls safety. Here's a forward control safety. I don't know how TacPack keeps getting better, but I absolutely think that if you are an AR-15 guy, gun guy, and you just want a little loot box sent to your house every month, sign up for TacPack using the coupon code SHEESH.
So get over there, guys. Go to TacPack. Use the coupon code SHEESH. You will get some additional items in that box when it's your first time signing up for TacPack using my code. So thank you, TacPack, for allowing this kind of content to exist. Take care.
Day 2 of testing, day 3.
This is our third day out here. Day 3, we're on our third day of testing. I went and picked up one of these Garmin chronographs, and we're gonna do a 5-shot string on the 338 ARC Sub X, and then we're gonna do it with the other rifles. .1041. So yeah, we're averaging about 1030.
Man, these Geisley mags really started working. Like I have, ever since we had those first couple malfunctions and this entire test and the rest of the rounds, no malfunctions with the Geisley mags. Kind of weird. All right, moving on. I did run out of the Gorilla ammo. Like I said, it was super, super expensive. So I have to give a huge shout out to Fort Scott for like basically overnighting me some more 8.6 so we could continue the test. So we're gonna be chronoing the 285 grain, so same grainage, and it's subsonic as the Gorilla ammo. .1052. Okay, so average 1053, and now we're on to the 300 Blackout, 200 grain subs. After I'm done shooting this, and you guys think it's dumb that they're all gonna be right around the same speed, I'm gonna explain why I did this.
On you.
See, that's crazy. So wow. So the 8.6 and the 338 ARC are moving those heavy slugs. That's crazy. I wonder if that's just the S&Bs. I'm gonna try the discrete ballistics ones as well.
There you go.
Let's see what those ones are doing. Okay, now we have these expanders from Discrete Ballistics. Gotta give a huge shout out to those guys. Yeah, 1029. Micah, why did you just prove that all subsonic guns basically shoot somewhere around 1050 FPS or less? I didn't expect that 338 ARC could honestly achieve the FPS that it needed with a 330 grain projectile, if I'm gonna be completely honest. If this is 330 grains and this is 190, you've gotta realize how far into this case that projectile goes. I've been told it takes up most of the case. So I just didn't even think that these would be capable of achieving positive, you know, like 1050, 1080 FPS. I thought they'd be sitting somewhere around 800 like the 300s were doing. So I'm actually really impressed that they managed to get such a small round, or such a large round moving that quick in such a small case. That's why I did the chronograph. Call me crazy in the comments if you think that was just dumb, but all right, guys, so we just finished the chronograph test. Now, I want to say this. I wanted to prove two things. A, I wanted to figure out if all my rounds were shooting the same speed. The round I was going to use for 300 Blackout happened to not be, so we're going to use a different one. But B, I think that we're going to see almost identical dopes. These are both subsonic projectiles, both kind of similar weights, but I just don't think we're going to see that much difference in range. So we're gonna go, these are zeroed for 100 yards. We're gonna start at 150, see how much immediate drop we're getting. Then we're gonna go straight to 300, why not? And then we're gonna go straight to 400, and then we're gonna go to 500. So I don't think anyone that is gonna be buying these platforms really intends on shooting out to 500. But we're just gonna kind of show that it can do it. I think it can do it. I've actually never done it. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and record on our scope cam. Okay, we're now recording on our trigger cam. We're gonna get on this, what do you think that is, 6-inch gong?
Yeah.
6-inch gong. I did create a loose profile in Applied Ballistics, so I know relatively where to hold on the 8.6. I didn't really create one. We're just going to use the 8.6s for this one as well. So we're going to start on this 6-inch gong, and we are going to start with 2 mils of hold. Now we're going to go out to 300, which will be about 9 mils of hold. So we might actually have to dial this back so you guys can see it. Okay, 9 mils. Lot of wind though. Just high. Okay, impact. Okay, moving on to 400. It looks like we're gonna be at 14 mils. You know what? We're gonna dial. So we're gonna dial up 1 full rotation. We're gonna go to, that's 10. And then we're gonna hold 4. Was that impact?
Sounded like it. Earlier, it was swinging the fuck out of it. There you go.
Okay. That's 4 mils. Send another. Yep. Impact. Okay, that's 2 impacts at 400. The dope is pretty on. 500 yards. This is pretty damn far for a subsonic round. And it looks like we're supposed to be holding 19, so we're gonna go to the 9 because we've done 1 full rotation on our turret cap. So we're gonna go right there. That's high. Wind's picking up. I'm gonna hold a little left. Yeah, I mean, the dope's almost spot on. Now, here's the, gonna be the intriguing part, and see if my hypothesis is correct. I think we're gonna use the exact same dope for the ARC. I don't think it's gonna do anything the 8.6 does better. I think the difference here is just gonna be the 8.6 happens to be more lethal. Okay. All right, we're now switched over to the 307 grain Hornady Sub X, and we're going to use the exact same dope that we built out for the 8.6. In case you guys were wondering, the app is called Applied Ballistics. All right, I can probably dial this in for now so you guys can see it. Okay, we're gonna do that same hold. Yeah, exact same hold. Yeah, almost nothing different. Okay, that was 150 yards, same exact 2 mil hold. Now we're gonna jump right out to 300 yards using our 8.6 dope. So we're gonna go to 9 mils. Gotta dial it out so you guys can see. Okay. Going to that 9 mil hold. Impact. Impact. 300. Honestly, with both of these calibers, just too easy. Now, taking her out to 400, and that is going to be 14 mils hold. So we're going to do 1 full rotation. Okay. So we're now 10 mils adjusted, and we're gonna hold an additional, 4 mils. Pretty easy. The final boss, we're gonna go to 500, which is 19 mils. Remember, we're 1 rotation completely, so we're 10 mils adjusted, and we're gonna still hold 9 mils in our scope. 9 mils. Put it right there. Hey, that's pretty crazy. Like, first round impact at 500 yards. I didn't hold any wind, Dan, like, at all. Yeah, it's like not terribly hard. It's actually kind of easy, so my theory was correct. We used the exact same dope for both rifles. So I guess neither win. All right, the conclusion of the video. The part that I wanted to get to the bottom of, because I've seen all the comments on Instagram. A lot of people just want this to succeed because they don't like Q or Kevin. A lot of people like this to succeed because they're Q fanboys. Look, at the end of the day, here's what we figured out. This is deadlier. This does more in ballistics gel. They both shoot the same exact feet per second. Okay, they're both about 1050. This is 307 grain. This is 285 grain. The difference here is this is a small frame. This is a large frame. Do you want to sacrifice the lethality of your caliber in the name of a small frame that you can't actually find mags that feed reliably? I don't know. That's up to you. You're gonna have to figure that one out. You're gonna have to put faith into the manufacturers to solve Hornadys' problem. Hornady made a round. They didn't have a delivery system. I think that's a huge flaw. $130 per mag, and it still feeds only 90% of the time. Unacceptable in my opinion. I think that Hornadys' round, specifically, all we tested is the Sub X, is great. It really does do, distance-wise, FPS-wise, recoil-wise, pretty similar to what the 8.6 does in a small frame. Obviously, the 8.6 maintains its lethality. It's a deadlier gun. It's going to hit harder. That 1 in 3 twist rate, really spiraling those rounds, is gonna put good effects on target that the Hornady cannot produce. In my honest opinion, in my conclusion, the fact that Hornady made a round around a gun that doesn't exist, meaning a gun that can't reliably feed them. I talked to many other manufacturers besides Faxon and mag manufacturers. They're having problems. They've been given a problem from Hornady, and they're expected to be the solution. Hey, can you guys get this to work? Can you guys make a mag that feeds this? Can you make a gun that feeds this? A few of them didn't want to be mentioned, but the manufacturers aren't really getting this thing to feed all too reliably. I think that if some manufacturer figures out some specs, cracks the code, this will be worth picking up. I think as of right now, we have a good round and a bad platform. We have a great round and a great platform with 8.6. Why did I kind of dip out on 300 Blackout? I dipped out because I started to realize that 300 Blackout kind of existed in its own little corner. It does what it does really well. The weight of projectiles, the dope, everything kind of is identical between these two guns. It seems like these two guns are really what are competing here. And so, and who's shooting 300 Blackout at 500 yards? That's just insanity. Now, as far, people might try to bring supersonic ammo into the mix, like, oh, well, you didn't test super. Look, I'm gonna be honest. If you want supersonic, then go get a 6 ARC, not a 338 ARC. If you want supersonic, then go get a 308. Don't get an 8.6. In my opinion, and this may not apply to you, you can think I'm dumb for it, 300 Blackout, 8.6, and 338 ARC all exist to be fired subsonic. I really wouldn't be buying them for any other application. They can do it. There are loads for it, and I'm sure they obviously have better effects on target, but then I'll just go get a 6 ARC. I'll just go get a 308 because that's even better than their counterparts. So I'm gonna deem these all, you know, kind of subsonic platforms, and you be the judge of who's the winner. I gave you my opinion. I'd love to hear where you think my test was flawed. I am just a human. I did just come out here over the course of 4 days and put my best into this. I put about 500 rounds through the 338 ARC. I put about 400 rounds through the 8.6. Guys, there's a lot of subsonic ammunition. A lot of the companies came through and made this test happen. Now, in closing, we do have to give a shout out to all the companies involved in this. We have Liberty Precision. This is their Anthem 38 can. Phenomenal. You guys could hear how quiet it was. I'd say it was actually much quieter than the Q offering. This is set up with a Difrico hand stop and just an SB brace, B5 grip, and the primary arms ACSS reticle. PLXC 1 to 8, and then we have our Q boombox. This is using a loopholed Mark IV HD 2 to 10, excuse me, 2.5 to 10. The Q short chop suppressor, Q hand stop, or Q little hand grip thingy, and the ammos fired were once again Fort Scott Tumble Upon Impact FMJ 8.6 Gorilla ammo, which kind of underperformed, and the discrete ballistics was performed phenomenally. And then thank you to Hornady for allowing me to test your ammo. This is their 338 ARC Sub X 307 grain. I do think it might have been a little unfair that I only had one type of ammo offering from Hornady for the 338 ARC platform, where I had 3 separate ammos to test for the 8.6. So I will throw that into there. I would like to see all the future subsonic loads and all those other manufacturers come up with things. And then also, it's not here, but my SIG Rattler. I love that gun, the Rattler LT, and then discrete ballistics for sending out those 300 blackouts. And it was also running a Liberty Precision. That is their titanium one, which on the Mach S. And that's a great can as well. You guys could hear how quiet it was. It speaks for itself. Big Liberty Precision guy. Just saying that. Check out their cans. Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts down below, and see you later.